Joe. Joe.
And members of the City Council, our Chief Operating Officer, Attorney Tonel Oriones, Governor Ryan Luis Singson of Ilocos Sur, and Governor Matthew Anoto of Ilocos Norte, Congressman Christine Singson of Ilocos Sur, our Regional Director, Joseph Francisco Ortega, Region 1, the Regional Directors of the Land Agencies of Government, members of the Tourism Council, department heads and assistant department heads, our barangay officials, our media practitioners, the citizens of Baguio, my wife Arlene, guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Today is an eventful 111th celebration for our city since its charter in 1909. Amid the continuing threat of a pandemic, we are gathered under the grace and blessings of our God, the Father Almighty. Reaching 100 is an achievement, but it is an extra 11 that everyone will remember. This administration sits at the 11th, and our task is to make sure that the city and its good people will see themselves in a better position, in a better way of life now, and beyond the 11th. We are lucky ones who will be able to look toward a better life ahead, to be able to experience what life would be in the new normal, and to see that our children will carry on, even amidst the damage that this pandemic has done to our world. This is because of the heroes who have put their lives on the line in order to keep us away from the virus, to take care of us if we get infected, to make sure that public safety and order is paramount at all times, to ensure that basic services, supplies, and aid reach our citizens who need it and who selflessly gave so others may have. Palakpakan po natin ang ating mga frontliners. I would like to give recognition to our frontliners who still are tirelessly working 6 months into this pandemic, to the healthcare professionals, to the community volunteers, the contact tracing teams, men and women in uniform, workers in the grocery stores and accommodation facilities, public transport drivers, errand service providers, retail workers and service crew, our media, government employees, and those who donated cash and income. We want to acknowledge this gift of continued life that you are doing to everyone. We salute you. You are in our hearts and in our prayers. A little more than a year ago, when I took us role on the role as your local chief executive, I had an idea of what was over the fence, and I was ready for it, knowing well that we needed to work as if this is our 11th hour. We heard and responded to the call for change in the way we see ourselves, change in the way we see present and past challenges, change in the way we must govern. Our administration came in knowing that when there were critical development challenges that needed to be solved and major urban problems that have to be surmounted. I will be very frank with you. Our city is almost at its tipping point. The unprecedented growth of our population, the presence of imminent climatic and health disasters, coupled with apparent neglect in safeguarding our shared environment, has put pressure on our very social foundation. Apay nga sa amin nga undas, kasapulan na danon para kinyayo tayo amin. Apay nga na traffic, kaya aglawlaw tayo. Apay nga maibus-busen, kaya mapupukawin, dagiti saling, kaya bakit tayo. Apay nga kurangan ti daga, napatakdaran, ti pagyanan, ti umili. Apay nga ni malangab tayo, kaya nga makapang bangka, nga angin. Apay nga adda ti rigat dito ay pagilyan tayo. I refuse to paint you a false, rosy state of urban life in our city. We have constantly said and steadfastly shown that our governance is built on transparency and trust. And I would like to thank everyone who has put their trust in me. And I would like to thank everyone that trust, that with my leadership, we will be able to move forward towards a better Baguio. A trust that will be able to put in place good governance beyond politics, beyond the popular and beyond self-interest. For this is the only way that we could reach a desirable state towards the quality of life that we all work and strive for, the decent life that all of us deserve. Buong tapang at malasakit natin ginagawa ang lahat upang malampasan ang crisis at makabangon. No less than a better Baguio, rebuilt by better people and managed by forward-looking leaders. Little did we know that this brand of governance will immediately be put to test by the COVID-19 pandemic, but this governance has stayed true to its course and has remained unchanged. In fact, it is the very thing that keeps us afloat. Our 15-point agenda was drawn up to the guideposts of this administration. It serves as the beacon to our true north, that no matter what challenges and surprises will be thrown our way during this leadership, we will forge ahead. We took the painful but necessary steps to reconfigure the way we do things in government. We aimed for a breath of fresh air. We made sure that during these most difficult times, when our own survival is challenged and when our economy is brought down to its knees, public welfare and safety is ensured. Peace and order is kept. And most importantly, our resiliency is always put to the fore through constant community engagement, aligned with the principle of equity and inclusivity. The 15-point agenda is my contract with you. A contract that is clear and palpable agreement between each and every one of you and me. That I will fulfill my obligations to you, to lead you to that desired quality of urban life, that you agree that we cooperate with each other, and that as an entire community, we will build up together to a better life now and beyond 111. With humility, I have the honor to report to you the highlights of the successes gained on our first year of leadership, continuing from the gains of previous leaderships. Our city was a recipient of international and national prestigious awards. The Nutrition Award, the highest award given by the National Nutrition Council, the champion in the Digital Governance Award of DICT, DILG, and NCIP, the ASEAN Clean Tourist City Standard Award, and the Best eGov Systems for Global Competitiveness Award. I vow to sustain the gains and bring them to a higher level as we position our city to becoming a smart city. We ended 2019 in a manner that we were able to reach our income targets with surplus of 323 million pesos. Of this, 158 is over collection. Prudence in our spending and optimizing our fiscal resources produced a savings of 164 million. We succeeded in getting the approval of supplemental budget in the amount of 900 million pesos to fund urgent programs and projects that will improve public service delivery. The City Council already has approved the updated schedule of market values for real properties. It took 20 years. But on this watch, this will be bringing an additional revenue of 50 million, and that is just for the first year of implementation. This revenue will be used to fund our priority programs. We are compliant with the ease of doing business in the city, but we will continue to enhance our services, particularly in simplifying processes like the automated business permitting system and soon the online building permit system, which will be launched after it completes development. We are also working on innovating other social services systems in order to provide ease and convenience to the transacting public. The lack of funds to implement necessary and high-impact development projects has never been so real. We have aggressively explored different ways of acquiring financing, partnership, and discovering access to other legitimate external funding mechanisms, especially for big and strategic development projects. We are able to secure as well as get commitments from various national government offices for the funding of several major infrastructure projects. The Smart City Command Center, with a program funding of 200 million from the Office of the President, will soon be implemented. We have just completed the bidding process, and Cisco won the bid. We will be exploiting the power and speed of information technology so that we can plan and manage our city's assets and resources and deliver city services to you more efficiently. We are working on a 50 million grant from DICT, where together with the smart city system will be the expansion of our fiber optics infrastructure. In addition, in order to centralize Baguio's management of data, the city plans to enter into a joint venture with Cisco to build a high-performance data center. 100 million pesos will be given to us through the national government for the installation of the citywide CCTV system. 320 million through the presidential management system will be allotted for our cultural arts and heritage center. There is a 50 million pledge for the development of a new barangay hall and evacuation facility in Irisan, and we are aiming to secure 250 million pesos for the improvement of the other barangay halls and evacuation centers around the city. Our city has always been attracted, or has always attracted the keen interest of investors, both foreign and local. Based on the city's credit capacity rating, our city is qualified to avail of financing windows through local banks or enter into public-private partnership. Considering this opportunity, the city has submitted for expert evaluation and possible financing of the following priority project: the Waste-to-Energy Project for Solid Waste Management as a BLIS cooperation project, the Walkable City Project, the Green Transport System, which will include an elevated railway, e-mass transport, integrated transport terminal, and multi-level green parking buildings, the transfer of the slaughterhouse to a more suitable and safe location, the reopening of the Luacan Airport, and the bulk water project. We are also exploring smart flood warning information and mitigation system project. We have finally resolved the Uniwide controversy after 24 years of impasse, thus paving the way for the much-delayed public market modernization. We have also resolutely addressed the Asin hydroelectric plant controversy, which was costing the city the city 7 million pesos of losses yearly. We can now move on and plan for the rehabilitation of the city properties. Our public market redevelopment will need 6 billion pesos, and we are looking at a public-private partnership as an avenue to make it into a reality. Allegedly, this project has been tainted with controversy, but we assure you that whatever modality and agreement will prove to be the most viable, it will be for the benefit of everyone. Corollary to the public market is our ongoing project of planning and building 11 satellite markets in order to bring fresh produce nearer to the communities. Similarly, we organized rolling stores that cater to all 128 barangays at the onset of the pandemic to bring market and grocery products closer to the people. The master development plans for Burnham Park, Bayan Park, Mines View Park, Wright Park, Dominican Heritage, and Baguio Cemetery have been completed and are now awaiting funding and implementation. It is only because of the pandemic that the 400 million peso grant from the Department of Tourism through CHESA for the improvement of Burnham Park was realigned for pandemic operations as postponed for a later date. The Arboretum and Botanical Gardens are now in their phase 1 and 2 of improvements with a total budgeted amount of 36 million. Our parks have been attracting tourists and we cannot discount the economic benefits that we derive from them. But of utmost importance is these spaces do not just provide attractions, but they are constantly improved and maintained for our social and physical well-being, as well as for our mental health as we bond with nature. We are persistently putting in efforts to revitalize our natural environment and expanding its capacity. The completion of the technical studies will soon pave the way for the long overdue comprehensive rehabilitation of our sewerage system to be done in coordination and collaboration with ADB and the conversion of the recent dump site to an ecological park. The easements along our waterways will be aggressively recovered and converted to biodiversity corridors. We have issued 228 demolition orders for those who violated our code, which protects these easements. The planning and eventual implementation of the first socialized housing and resettlement program of the city is already underway. A site has been selected in Irisan, and the architectural engineering plans are now being prepared. The Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development has allocated a funding of 56 million for site development, and the National Housing Authority is providing us 50 million pesos for building construction. The selection of the first tranche of housing beneficiaries is already being undertaken. The pandemic may have set back some of our initiatives, but it also has revealed how we can consolidate ideas and efforts. Right now, an integrated mobility plan which will provide a connected networks of roads, sidewalks, biodiversity corridors, parking, public transportation, biking and pedestrian spaces in our city is being put together. The mission is to connect our homes to our workplaces, as well as to our rest and recreation spaces, in order that we are given options on how we can move, and even if we experience breakdown in public transportation system. We have taken back the road right-of-way, and a total of 167 structures were demolished to pave way for unhampered and free spaces designed for accessibility. DPWH earmarked 200 million pesos of funding for us for the redevelopment and of our sidewalks in our central business district. Parking facilities and transport terminal facilities are under feasibility studies as part of our deliberate intention to reform and improve public transportation services. You will also soon experience the rational traffic signalization of our intersections and crosswalks, which will ensure efficient movement and safe access with our central business district. The MMDA has been providing us technical assistance to develop a traffic management plan. We are eyeing a 99 million peso grant for our smart traffic system and a possible 198 million grant from DPWH for our city's traffic control system. As of today, 234 million pesos were obligated and spent for our efforts in mitigating the effects of COVID-19 on our health and well-being, our community life, and the dire consequences it has brought to our economy. We made sure that we have all the necessary and required health response services and infrastructure available. Lindy Hotel was used as an isolation facility at the onset of COVID-19. We were able to allot 25.2 million pesos for the defunct Santo Niño Hospital as an isolation facility, and DPWH is providing 12 million pesos for its expansion into a 300-bed isolation facility. The Public Highways is further providing us 8 million pesos for the construction of a one-story 16-bed health facility at the parking lot of Baguio Convention Center, which will be adjacent to a centralized triage facility worth 35.2 million pesos. In any eventuality, we have 6 hospitals with 79 bed wards, 219 isolation beds, 30 ICU beds, 18 mechanical ventilators, and 2 laboratories already in use and on standby, specific for the testing, treatment, and management of COVID-19. By the end of September, we will have a total of 400 isolation beds. We are 100% compliant on contact tracing for positive cases in our city. Our contact tracing efficiency ratio was previously at 1:37, and because of clustering, it is now at 1:20, where for every patient, 20 high-risk contacts are traced, tested, isolated, and treated eventually. We have completed 36,000 RT-PCR tests on the general public, various health workers, and overseas Filipino workers. This figure does not include the 9,000 rapid tests and 1,700 antigen tests that we conducted. Both RT-PCR and rapid test kits were acquired at no expense to the city, the worth of about 250 million pesos. Border controls, tracing, and containment efforts have been relentless. As I speak, 56 memoranda have been issued by my office for targeted lockdowns. We will not stop until we have stamped out the problem of COVID-19. At the onset of the pandemic and with a working budget of 363,000 pesos only, the Urban Survival Gardens project were launched and vegetable seeds were given to 3,800 residents for planting. This project will continue to be expanded in order to provide us alternative food and livelihood sources. An initial 6 units of technology-based strawberry greenhouses shall be jointly implemented this year by the City Veterinary and Agricultural Office and 5 community organizations in several barangays. Once a certain degree of success is achieved, more communal greenhouses will be built with a total cost of 4.8 million. In addition, 10 units of aquaponics sets were turned over to the city by the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources last August 27, with a total cost of 450,000 pesos. An additional 50 more will be built next year for the city at a cost of 2.7 million. During the ECQ, a centralized relief operation was set up at the PFBR gym in order to address the needs of 80,000 affected families. An SAP hub was also put into operation concurrent to a digital system in order to fast-track the delivery of welfare benefits. Through the city, a total of 471 million has been distributed to 47,000 families who needed help. An amount of 1.7 million pesos was returned by our honest citizens since they got other assistance from the other agencies like DOLE or DOLE, SSS, and OWA. To our dear students and teachers, we are working on providing free Wi-Fi in your barangays so that education will not be delayed and hampered. We have budgeted 16.5 million pesos under the Special Education Fund so that your teachers can prepare and deliver your learning modules to your homes. We will find other ways to support blended and online learning in our city. We have started giving our senior citizens and other risk groups influenza vaccination to make sure that they will be protected against flu and kept away from the health facilities where the COVID-19 diseases or COVID-19 disease is keeping our health care resources and personnel challenged. Around 5,000 face shields will be distributed to indigent senior citizens soon. To the MSMEs, who comprise 70% of our taxpayers in our city, we have allotted 100 million pesos by way of a loan program in order to alleviate your conditions and restart your businesses. The funds have been made available and ready for disposal. Undoubtedly, our tourism sector is the worst hit in this pandemic. In 2019, we had completed a 3-year tourist development plan that is geared towards responsible and sustainable tourism, and a total of 1.5 million tourist arrivals were recorded, which translated to about 4 billion pesos of gross receipts. With COVID-19, 1.67 billion pesos is gone, but we did not stop. We never wavered. We drafted a tourism resilience and recovery plan, a proactive and workable plan to prepare this industry for the new normal. The web-based Baguio Visita program will soon set the new direction of tourism in our city because we want to showcase Baguio City to visitors in a slow, sure, and safe manner without compromising your health and safety. We are working with the different provinces of Region 1 in developing a tourism project called the Reach to Reef Tourism Bubble. For now, let us take this opportunity to rediscover our own city. Let us be our city's tourist. Let me assure everyone that when we open our city, we will slowly open based on our degree of confidence, gradual and calibrated. Ever since the March 17 lockdown, we were in a sequence of hammering and dancing. The hammer being the aggressive lockdowns which we imposed over our city and its barangays. This had hit our economy the hardest. The dance being the fluid instance where we had to start our slow opening and recovery and begin living with the virus. The COVID virus will not go away. We need to learn to coexist with it, to live with it, and to do business with this virus in our environment. In essence, we need to learn how to function with COVID-19. This hammering and dancing could not have been implemented properly and peacefully if not for DILG's Disiplina Muna, a project which is sustained campaign in practicing disciplina in our own backyards, not only in the city of Baguio, but in the entire Cordillera region. I have been consistent in saying that the only way we could achieve a level of success in delivering these services to you would be to practice the whole of the society and the whole of government approach. Despite facing internal barriers and doubts, especially as I espouse the dynamic change in our city, the friction that might have emanated nonetheless created among us a unified perspective, because no matter what our beliefs and stand are on various issues, we share a common vision, the betterment of our city and its people, especially in these most crucial times. This administration will adhere to a listening, consensus-building type of leadership, but it definitely will not shirk from taking decisive actions if a given situation demands. There will be no turning back from what has been started to build back Baguio for better ways, more so under extraordinary times. But let it be overemphasized that we will continue to rely on our collective spirit of unity and cooperation. Thank you to our dynamic department heads led by our city administrator, Engineer Bonnie de la Peña, our executive assistants, and the entire government workforce, our behind-the-scenes heroes. Salamat po sa ating legislative department na pinapanunuan ni Vice Mayor Tino Oloa and the members of the City Council. They have passed no less than 61 ordinances and resolutions, all for a shared desire to bring back and sustain a sense of normalcy in our city. Magyaman ako Congressman Marco for being our voice in Congress, for being dynamic, and for your unwavering support. To our barangay officials who have bravely led and regulated your constituencies even in the most difficult of situations, maraming salamat sa inyo. To our media partners who have relentlessly done their work to provide timely information, thank you very much. To our police force, led by Police Colonel Allen Reco, this pandemic has thrown innumerable challenges your way. Your current duties are unpredictable and often unknown. Thank you for your unwavering service. You all deserve my snappiest salute. To all Baguio residents, your cooperation and discipline have been my inspiration to tirelessly work to honor our contract. You have willingly shared your humble selves in the service of our own city. You have patiently stood in line for essential needs, observing physical distancing, conscientiously donned your face masks and face shields, and regularly practiced hand washing. Your discipline shown through each day. You are the reason why this government continues to persevere, aspiring to do better in the delivery of quality urban services. To my wife Arlene and my family, thank you for your unwavering support and patience. Your love and understanding inspire me. You are the reason why I am here or where I am now. The 11th hour is considered the final moment when change is possible, and we can only do this together. We are not working for a small change. We are targeting for an unprecedented change. A change through genuine leadership, and with your cooperation and trust, we come together to work together, to heal together, and to build this city together. Angat tayo Baguio. Thank you and happy Baguio Day to everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Baguio City Mayor Honorable Benjamin Magalo.